We're going to talk here a few minutes about choices. And I know you've heard from Ashton and you've heard from WestLee, but just like in this illustration that was just done, one bad choice can lead to a lifetime of bad choices. So what are you saying? So what I'm telling you, young kids, listen to me, I want everybody looking at me. Even adults, because sometimes us as adults think that we're excluded from these things, but we're not. One bad choice can begin to lead to a lifetime of bad choices. It's almost like we're creatures of habit, so we start making these habits in our life to make these different choices, and whether they're wrong or right, I want you to understand that every choice has a consequence to it. Every one of them. Whether it be a good choice or a bad choice, everything has a consequence to it. And let me tell you a little bit, some of the things. Let me ask the kids, and I want to everybody. Excuse me. I want to ask you a question for a second. How many people in here, with a show of hands, want to do something with their lives? With a show of hands, adults. I don't care how old you are. Everybody wants to be something. Wants a purpose in their life. They want to do something with their life. But bad choices will always get in the way. Bad choices always trip us up from our destiny and our purpose in our life. Does everybody understand what I'm saying here? And I can speak from that. When I was in, and I think I've told this story while in this church before, but for you kids, how many of you like sports? You like sports? How many of you play sports? Whether it be football, basketball, softball, whatever it may be. So a majority of you. Sports was my thing. I loved sports. Whether it be baseball, mainly played baseball and football. I was terrible at basketball. Literally, a white boy cannot jump. You know what I'm saying? I was awful at basketball. And so I stuck to my strengths here, but that's beside the point. I began to, in my high school, through middle school, through high school, I began to focus everything on football because, man, that's what I loved. And, of course, we're in the state of Alabama. We all love football. And I began to focus all that on it. And I got better. As I got better, my coaches began to tell me, you've got potential to go to college. And so that began to be my driving force in high school. That's what kept me straight. That's what kept me getting out of a lot of trouble. But, a lot of big trouble, actually. But I was making small choices. Let me tell you something. Understand this. Even the small decisions in your life can affect you. They don't have to be big decisions where you say, well, Bryan, I don't hang out with the wrong crowd, or I don't do, drugs or drink or all those things. But listen, just the smallest decisions can mess you up. And small decisions usually end up leading to bigger decisions and bigger choices that will affect you. And so as I was going through high school and I was doing everything, and I had these football scholarships I wanted to go to Troy State. That was back when it was Troy State, and I was talking to them, and I had this, nothing. I never got to go to Alabama or Auburn. It wasn't big enough, or no offers like that. But it was just the love of the sport. I just wanted to play, and as I was going for those things, as I was doing those things, all the time, all the while, I was making wrong decisions. The people I was hanging out with was not the right crowd. Those people ended up bringing me down. I was partying on the weekends. I was, sneaking out of my house, doing what my parents told me not to do. Even my teachers would tell me, Bryan, you are going to let that group of people bring you down. You're going to let that group of people hold you back from your destiny. But yet the whole time I let it go in one ear and out the other. And so, long story short, I ended up getting in some trouble because of a bad choice. And I lost my football scholarship. I was kicked out of high school my senior year after about the third football game. And West Alabama had offered me a scholarship, and they had told me, we can't give you a scholarship. You understand that crushed me? One bad choice, one bad decision can do that to you. But I want you to understand, Wesley, come on up. I want to use Wesley as an illustration. We're going to use this chain for a minute. This chain right here, come on down here, WestLee. This chain right here is going to represent choices. Each link is going to represent a lifetime of bad choices. And so what happens here is WestLee makes a bad choice. This right here may be, not obeying his parents or, not doing his homework. I mean, simple stuff. Listen, even adults, you think this is silly, but it's not. The small things end up leading to bigger things always. And so then all of a sudden, I start hanging out with the wrong crowd. And next thing you know, I'm starting to drink. And this thing starts to wind itself around you. And then you got all these built up choices and decisions, these bad decisions that you have in your life. And you wonder why you're not going anywhere, why you're not doing anything. Adults, I'm talking to you too. But let me tell you something, a cool thing about the God we serve, because listen, one right decision, one right choice will override a lifetime of bad choices. Y'all hear me in here this morning? Do you understand this? Young people, you understand that one right choice can override a lifetime of bad decisions. And so finishing my story, I lose my football scholarship, my purpose that I thought was my purpose. And next thing you know, I'm an alcoholic, I'm a drug addict, and I ended up in a place that I never thought I would ever end up. I never intentionally went down that road. It was all my choices that led me there. See, a lot of people in churches think this, that doesn't apply to me. That doesn't apply to me. That's a lie. Because it does. What kind of choices are you making at work? Who are you hanging out with? What are you doing on the weekends? People come to church and they fake it. They fake it. And it all leads to this. And they're so bound up and they don't know why their life has ended up the way it's ended up. And it's because of a lifetime of bad choices. How many of you in here this morning are listening to me? How many of you in here are hearing me? Let me tell you something, the cool thing about my God is as I was a drug addict for 10 years, young people, 10 years of my life. And it started at a young age. I don't know how old all you guys are, but it starts now. 10 years of my life a drug addict. But when I finally made the right choice and I finally hit my knees and said, God, I need your help. I'm wrapped up, I'm bound up, I can't move. I didn't mean to get to this place. I need your help. Do something with my life. That decision right there, that choice right there, set me free. WestLee, come on. And now we got this break right here, and I want you to understand something. You see all these bricks. These bricks also are going to represent all these choices that are stacked up against you. And when you come to God and you take all your bad choices and your bad decisions to Him, He says, you know what? You know what, son? You know what, daughter? You know what? I'm going to give you the strength. You, the strength. He that is in you is greater than he is in the world. Do you understand me? Reality Church, this morning, He doesn't do it. He gives you the strength to do it. And you can break those choices. You can break the cycle. You can do it. He gives you the strength. So here in a few minutes, WestLee's going to step up to this break. And this is going to represent you in the place of WestLee. It represents me. It represents all of you that God has saved and brought out. Because listen, He's done it through you. So this is going to represent all those bad choices being broken in your life by the strength of God. How many of you know that we can't do it on our own? I couldn't quit doing drugs on my own. Young people, I couldn't quit making the wrong decisions on my own. I needed help. Not from my mama or my daddy. Not from my cousins, my uncles, not from my friends. I needed Jesus in my life. And He is what has sustained me. He is what has sustained me. Statisticals tell you somebody that's been drugging up for 10 years would have already gone back to it. I've been clean and sober now for 6 years, had never went back to it. What has sustained me? No, don't clap Because it wasn't me. It was him. It was him. So this morning, whatever you got in your life, whatever you got going on, I want to tell you, I don't care how many bricks these are, I don't care if they're stacked to the ceiling in here, God can give you the strength to break them. How many of you believe that this morning? Young people, how many of you believe that this morning? How many believe that, man, one right decision can break through every wrong decision that you've ever made? How many adults, how many of you believe that this morning? So what we're going to do, I need everybody here to stand up. I need everybody to stand up. And listen, we got to get loud for this big man. We got to get loud for him because, yeah, he ripped up those phone books pretty easily, but I don't know about this thing. I don't know. But listen, this is going to represent your life. You put your place in WestLee right here. And this right now, when these bricks hit the floor, it's going to be your past hitting the ground, and you walk over it, and you never go back to it. And you start making the right decisions and the right choices today. So here's what we're going to do on the count of 3. Wesley's going to bust through these bricks like butter. So on the count of 3, everybody get loud. Let me hear you now. Come on. Wesley, you ready? All right, on the count of 3. 1,